going on, everyone? Today I'm going to do a video on the rear brakes on a 2008 Volkswagen Jetta. This will work for the 2006 to 2010 Jetta as well. I'm going to go over the tools we need. You're going to need a 13mm wrench and or a 13mm socket and ratchet. You're going to need your torque wrench, flathead screwdriver, some pliers, a hammer ratchet if you have one, with a T30 bit, and that will be to take the little screw out from the rotor. And then you're gonna need this, what is this? It's a 14mm triple square 12-point socket. You're gonna need that for the caliper bracket bolts. I picked this little kit up down at Advanced. Comes with a variety of different sizes, but if you grab this, it has your 14mm. And you're gonna need to take your tire off, so you need everything to do that. And a jack, and your pads, and rotor. So, loosen the lug nuts, we'll lift the car up and we'll get to it. So you're going to want to pull this cover up so you can get to your brake fluid cap. Just take that cover right off for when we push the pistons back in the caliper. Go over the few things we have to do here. First thing, we'll loosen up that bolt and that bolt. So those two are 13mm. We'll take the caliper off, set it to the side, and then if you look down in here, you see this one and this one. Those are the 14mm 12-point to take the caliper bracket off. And then the reason I have this hammer ratchet is to take this little T30 screw out, which holds your rotor in place. And having those hammer ratchets helps with not stripping out the little screw or running into any problems like that. 13. The first bolt, and we'll come down to the second one. Alright, there's your two caliper bolts. You should be able to work the caliper off if you need to. This is when you can use your flathead screwdriver to kind of work it back and forth. Alright. So set that somewhere so it's not hanging off the lines. You don't want to risk breaking any of your brake lines. Now we'll grab this 14mm 12-point. which I'm using a 16mm socket to go over. And connect to the ratchet. And I found the easiest way to do this is come from underneath, get right in there, and then just give it a little tap. There's bolt number 2. Now we'll take our caliper bracket, pull that right off, pull our old pads out. As you can see, whoever owned this before me put brand new pads on junk rotors. It's not smart. If your rotors are not good, change them. Take your old clips off, set that to the side. Next, grab my little hammer ratchet. Alright. These things are very convenient because as you hit it, it's pushing it into the bolt itself. So it definitely de-risks stripping it out. Alright, there's that. Let's give your rotor a little... Yeah. Oh yeah, look at all that rust falling right out. There you go. There's your rotor. Make sure we clean this all up with some brake cleaner. Get it all cleaned up nicely. And I'm going to use some fluid film. Lube everything back up. And we'll take our new rotor, put that in place. Take our little screw, start threading that back in. Once you got it where you want it, grab your hammer, just to tighten it up, give it a couple taps. There, that's all set. Now this is when your pliers come in play. You're going to take your caliper, and these screw, they twist in and twist out. So you don't want to twist it in all the way. That looks pretty good. These are pretty much flush with each other. So now, make sure your bracket's all cleaned up. What you're going to want to do is pull your slides out, wipe the old grease right off. Now your new pad should have came with some lube here, some grease. Just going to want to re-grease these. You want them nice and lubed up so they can slide good. They don't ever lock up on you and get stuck in place. Go ahead and put it back in. Make sure the rubber goes back over. It's a little seat there. Just like that. Do your second one. Put it back in. All right, we look like we're good to go now. Our caliper back out of the way. Now this bracket goes just like this. Actually, before we get to that step, you can actually take some of this grease, because you're probably going to have some left over. You might as well put a little bit on your bolt, on all of them. Never hurts to grease everything up, because next time you take it apart, you'll be very thankful that you did. Grab our second bolt. Okay, so grab your bracket now, slide that in place, come up from the bottom, get your bolt through the hole, thread it in to your caliper bracket. Grab your other bolt and do the same thing before you tighten any of them up. Threading this in, I do have another video on how to do the front brakes on the same car. If you need help with that, go check that video out. I'm going to do all kinds of other videos for this car as well, so you should definitely hit that subscribe button and give the video a like. Helps my channel out, helps with the YouTube algorithm, let other people see the video. I need help. So I got my 12-point 14mm. I'm going to tighten these bolts back up now for the caliper bracket. To show you guys what's going on back here, because I know you're not seeing it from the front. Right there. So it's those two. One. And right where that is. Okay, brackets back in place. Your new pad kit should have came with 2 new clips. If you have any rust or anything in these little areas, make sure you clean them up with a wire brush or chip them out with something. So make sure you put your clips in and make sure they're not pushed in onto the rotor, or else you'll be having some serious squealing problems. Alright, Grab your 2 new pads. Put them right in just like so. Just like that. Before we start, grab your 2 caliper bolts. Do what we did before, throw some grease on them. Okay, grab your caliper. You may have to push your slides in slightly. There you go, caliper's in place. Now go ahead, thread your 2 bolts. Just go ahead until you hear the click. Unless you got a digital, it'll beep. So right there. So that bottom one's good. As I'm tightening this top one, there we go. Now the slide's not spinning. Just be careful of your brake line. This is when the 13mm wrench definitely works a lot better than this, but I want to torque these. So right here we should get that click. There we go. I always like to go just slightly more. Makes me feel better. Here's our finished product. Nice new slotted rotors. Nice new pads. Everything's back together. And by the way, if you guys were wondering, these pads and rotors, the rotors are Stop Tech. I got them from eurotuning.com. And these are the brake pads. Definitely a good website. Check out. They got a wide variety of different brands, and their customer service is great. Hopefully this helps some of you guys out. Give the video a like, leave a comment if you have any questions or need to know anything. I'm right here. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hit that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate every single one of my current subscribers. Thank you guys very much. I will see you guys in the next video. So you're gonna want to come over to your brake fluid reservoir. Since we pushed the pistons back in on the caliper, you're gonna want to check your brake fluid. You may have to remove some fluid out of there, but just give it a check. If you have to remove some, you can just take a hose, stick it in, put your thumb on the top, lift it up, dump it into a bottle. Just keep doing that until you get to your max fill line right there, and then that should take care of it.